All right, I wanted to talk some more about Bitcoin and money, and not necessarily just Bitcoin, but why uh, people are basically punished for holding on to money. If you're a normal person that just earns a wage, uh, your value, the purchasing power of the money that you hold decreases every single day. So if you make $5,000 a month and you just hold on to that money, you can see it in your life where the price of gasoline, the price of groceries, the price of a vehicle, the price of insurance, the price or the cost, right? Really the same thing. It's just the price you have to pay to get the service that you need. The price of real estate, the price of your rent if you're renting an apartment or a house, or you have like I said, other insurance related expenses. The insurance company, they have to charge you more because their costs, when when their house burns down or they have a claim, the cost to repair and to fix the home, it costs more money to do that. And so the insurance company, as a result, has to charge all of their policyholders more money. And you see that in California and Florida and other parts where there's a higher risk rate of tornadoes or hurricanes or wildfires. All that cost gets pushed onto people who own the home and have to insure the home against a natural disaster or other type issues occurring. So if you have some money, a lot of people don't don't necessarily have any really spare money, right? Most of their money is accounted for. They earn money, they spend money. They don't have a ton of buffer. They don't have some money that they're deferring. But if you have money that you say, I don't need to spend this right now, maybe you have $10,000 or $20,000 or $50,000 or $100,000. I have some money. I don't need to spend this right now. What am I going to do with it, right? If I want to, people, of course, they want to defend their purchasing power. So, I have this money. I have options to spend it today. Like I could go buy stuff today if I wanted to. I could go on a vacation. I could buy a new car. I could go buy new clothes and whatever. There's a bunch of options that you could go spend your money today. But a lot of people don't want to do that, and so they will defer spending their money because they want to invest the money. They want the money to grow, or they want the money to, save it for a rainy day or have it in the future. And when you do that, you're making a conscious decision to say, I know I have this liquidity right now, I have this money, and I could go use it, and I could get gratification today from getting stuff for that or having an experience by spending this money that I have earned or that I have. If you decide not to do that, right, you're making a decision to say, I'm gonna not do that today for a future benefit. It's similar to going to the gym or eating well. You're making an investment today for a future later benefit. Now, when it's food related, a lot of the time it's just having good overall general health, sleeping better, living longer, just living a better overall quality of life. And you do that on a daily basis. It's an investment in yourself. Same thing with going to the gym. If you don't have to go to the gym, right? Maybe people go to the gym 6 hours a week. That's 6 hours that you could potentially work, or you could relax, or you could sleep, or you could do anything else besides go to the gym. But you're making an investment today to say, yeah, I'm going to go spend 90 minutes at the gym today because I know it's important to be healthy. I want to invest in my future health. I want to, as I get older, I want to try to maintain a good weight. I want to, remain flexible so that my movement's good and that I live a longer life. But those are all things that you have to do pretty much on a daily or weekly basis in order to ensure that you're going to be healthy as you get older. And it's very clear that if you don't make those investments, right? If you live a lot of your life without really exercising a lot and kind of eating not that well, it's very likely that as you get older, you're going to have bad health, right? And it's similar to, I guess, money and finance. It's like if you don't make an investment into retirement vehicles or into hedges of inflation or into, I guess, the stock market, mutual funds, that sort of thing, when you get older, you're going to realize I don't have anything here. And time is really your biggest ally. If you put that money in when you're younger and you just let it work for you for 20 years or for 30 years, that money most of the time is going to give you a very large return. But if you never really set that money aside when you're younger or when you're still relatively younger, the money doesn't really work for you. And you didn't make the investment. So when you get older, you're stuck basically with whatever income you have from your job. And then when you get, really older, like into your 60s, I know that's not really old, but it is older. Social Security is not really much of a safety blanket. It is really supplemental income. I'm sure there are people who can live on Social Security. They're going to have a unique living situation. But Social Security is really, $1,000 or $2,000 a month. For most people in the United States, that's not going to be sufficient to living even a modest retirement. So those things have to happen over a 20 or a 30-year period. You have to defer your spending and you have to put it into a vehicle that's going to work for you. If you just hold your money in the bank or if you hold your money in cash, you're not going to get much of a return. And we all are very aware that prices just keep going up. So the value of purchasing power of the money in your bank account is going to go down because all of the real consumer items or the real goods in the economy just get more expensive in dollar terms as time elapses. So your true purchasing power of $1 goes down. That's why you have to put your resources, and money is really just energy. You have to put that energy into things that are going to yield a real positive return. So if you take, for example, the money market accounts right now, or people, you can open up a lot of trading accounts and you can get 4 or 5% return for just, guaranteed return in a savings account. High yield savings account, I think is what they call it. Okay. A lot of people might think that's pretty good because it's like, wow, that's, 5% guaranteed, no risk. I can just park my, $50,000 there and I can get, $2,500 a year. You might think that's okay, but it's really not, because the real rate of inflation is higher than 5%. Do you understand that, right? So you're getting a 5% return and the inflation rate is probably closer to 10%. So you got, just take $100,000 to make it easy. If you put $100,000 into a high yield savings account, after 1 year, you're going to have a $5,000 yield return. So your total value of that money, if you want to take all your money back, is $105,000 in dollars. Meanwhile, the real rate of inflation, when you factor in all groceries and utilities and housing, shelter, vehicles, insurance, cost of living, I would probably say it's around 10%. So it's at least 7% over the past few years, 7 to 10%. So the cost of everything went up by, you got 5% return, but the real cost of everything went up by 7 to 10%. So that's a negative real return on your money. So even though 5% seems pretty good, it's like, hey, everything else in the economy is going up by more than 5%. So I'm actually giving my money away for free. because I'm getting a negative return on it. Now, it's better than if it just sat in a bank account and didn't get any interest, but you need to be getting a real positive return after inflation, or else your money, after enough time, your money will just go to zero because the purchasing power of that money gets diminished as every year goes on. If you're not outpacing inflation, your purchasing power is going to go away. So that's why I realized that, and I said, hey, okay, well, basically just holding dollars or keeping your money is a gamble, and it's not actually a gamble. You're guaranteed to lose. If you hold the dollar, it's 100% guaranteed you're going to lose your purchasing power because the dollar just gets inflated just like any other currency. The real value of that dollar goes down. So that's why I think younger people and potentially some older people as well are just they're way more open to risk because they know if they leave their money in the local currency, they're just going to get screwed over. The value of that currency just goes down. So it doesn't really make sense to have more than a couple $1,000s, I think, in a bank account at any time because the money's not doing anything for you. It's not working for you. You're not really getting a real return. Inflation just kind of eats it away. So you want to have some amount of money so that you feel comfortable in the bank and that you could maybe take care of an unexpected expense that pops up. But in general, it doesn't make any sense to have any amount of real money in a bank account because even if you're getting 4 or 5%, again, I think that's okay. It's better than zero, but it's not a real vehicle, to get a return. You're going to be losing purchasing power if you're getting 4% in today's economy. It's because the inflation's much higher. So that's why things like Bitcoin and other speculative things, assets you could call them, are getting attention because people want something that can't just be printed or manipulated by a central bank or by a human actor. And I'm not saying that's the end all be all. I'm not saying Bitcoin's going to solve the world or be the best hedge against inflation or storing your purchasing power. But I think that's the reason why it's got a lot of attention because the last few years have been very inflationary. People have seen their real purchasing power go down, and they're willing to put some of that energy into something where they see, hey, I know this thing's volatile, I know this thing's speculative, but if I just park some money here and then forget about it, is this thing going to defend my purchasing power? Is this thing going to reward me for parking money there? And so far the answer has been yes. I mean, obviously, that the supply of it can't be manipulated. And again, I know that, of course, anything could go to zero or it could be deemed obsolete, but why not put some money into it as a store of value, as a hedge against inflation? Because you want to, people today, even in the United States, but outside of the United States, our inflation's pretty low here. If you look at other countries, their inflation is very bad. It's 20, 30, 50%, sometimes even 100% in some countries per year. So they have even more of a reason to need something like Bitcoin or something where they have confidence that they can save in that currency or in that asset and know that their real purchasing power is being protected. And I realized that just a few years ago, even in the United States. I said, man, everything's just more expensive. Your salary or your wages don't really keep up with how much things are going up. So you have to put the limited amount of resources you have into something that is going to provide you a solid return. And again, I'm not saying that all cryptocurrency or Bitcoin or Ethereum or any of that. I'm just saying that is, I think, the story of why a lot of people have more interest in it. Because they know if they just kind of do what they're told, if they do the 401k or if they kind of put a lot of their money in a savings account, they're not going to get a real return. Inflation is going to eat them away. And, I mean, they're not going to be completely broke, but you're not really going to get a solid return in most 401ks or in most mutual funds or in a high yield savings account. I mean, 7-8% maybe, which really is barely even beating inflation. So Bitcoin is I think it'll go a lot higher over the long run. Of course, a lot of people just cannot stomach the volatility. They don't want to look and see that they lost 20% in 1 month. But over the long run, it's like, hey, we have a fixed number of this currency, of this asset. We know that it has real value, and people cannot manipulate the supply of it. That's the biggest thing. So I think it'll continue to go up. There's already been adoption of it. There's been, governments and other countries that have shown interest in it because they know that their money system is really broken. Not a lot of people have confidence that they can use that currency or trust the government to protect them for their time. When you spend your time earning the currency, and the central power or the government can manipulate that currency to make you poorer, then you're really getting robbed of your time, right? Because you don't have any control over like the prices of things in the currency. So everything in your life just becomes more expensive. And if your income doesn't go up, people's incomes don't go up 2 or 3 times, right? But the cost of living might increase 50% if you're in, a different country. And if you make kind of the same amount of money, you are getting screwed. You're being robbed of your time because your time is giving you a currency that doesn't allow you to do anything in the economy. If you put that money into gold or into the stock market or into Bitcoin even, or something where it's a hedge, then you'd have more. Your money would be growing for you instead of being devalued by the government. And they can decide to do that whenever they want. That's the scary part. We don't have any control over it, and we are all just hostage to what they want to do. And so that's really why I think things like Bitcoin have gotten attention, because, again, I'll close with this, but you want to be able to have confidence that if you park some money in something, that it's going to be working for you, or at the very minimum, it's going to be maintaining your purchasing power in real terms. So let me know what you think. Do you guys have any Bitcoin? What do you do to hedge your earnings? Where do you put the money? Stock market, 401k, Roth IRA, real estate maybe? What are you guys doing? Let me know. Subscribe. See you on the next one.